What is up, all of you Ugnaughts and Jawas out there, and welcome in to Mando Talk, The Acolyte, episodes 1 and 2, breakdowns. I'm your host, Caleb Keller, and joining me, Zach Horvath, baby. Zach, what up, man?
What up? Yeah, man. So excited to talk about this show, talk about Star Wars. Happy to be here. And correct me if I'm wrong. I think we're riding this show all the way through together, right?
Dude, that's the plan. That's the plan. I do know, like, one of the, I think it's the finale week. I think we be beaching. So we're gonna have
Oh
to we're gonna
no.
have to make a plan for that though. But we'll definitely
Ooh.
cover it
I'm
somehow.
gonna be beaching there in some point
There
too.
you go. We'll
We'll
figure it
work
out.
it out. Yeah,
We'll
yeah,
record from Scarif or something if we
yeah.
absolutely have to.
Yeah, yeah.
But I am thrilled to be talking about the Acolyte with you. Obviously, we'll be doing it as much as possible. We've got 2 episodes to talk about on this week's pod, so that's certainly exciting. And we have not done any pre-talking or pre-discussing of what you thought or what I thought. So I'm dying to just really get into this conversation. And honestly, I just want to start. I mean, I don't really want to get into the breakdown. Let's just talk for a second.
Yeah,
Let's
yeah.
talk for a second. We'll obviously get to the breakdown, but let's talk for a second. Obviously, at least in my opinion, Zach, you can maybe shed some light on this. So far, the Acolyte has been one of the most divisive things ever on my end that I'm seeing, and it hasn't even released. So it's already hot and heavy on the minds. I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed both episodes 1, especially episode 1. I can't lie, I think I liked episode 1 a little bit better than episode 2, but episode 2 was still very solid. I'm very engaged with this story. I don't know if I'm all the way in, like, oh, I'm sold. I don't know if I'm there to where some of the reviews are saying, "Oh, this is the best thing Star Wars has done since they've bought it, or since Disney bought it. This is the best Star Wars content we've gotten." I don't know if I'm there like some people have been. I think I'm intrigued though. I'm in on the story. There's my initial reaction, I guess. Zach, what is yours?
Yeah. So just to preface,
Okay,
if you're a listener of Mando Talk, you know this is high on my list, if
this is
not
your show.
number one. I have been looking forward to this ever since they released it. I think we were doing the show like all the time back then when they like announced it.
Yeah, no, we were.
Um, Dude, I loved it. I loved
Loved
it.
it. Let's go.
Loved it. I loved it. So episode one, just to kind of cut them up. Episode one, I liked it. I wasn't sucked in yet.
Ooh, okay.
I thought it was really good, but I always say you got to give it 3 episodes, and so that's what
Sure.
I always do. And so I was like, okay, I'm feeling this. But man, episode two, I loved episode two. That
Okay.
that made me kind of lock in and be like, I can't wait for next week. Like that's where I'm
Yeah.
sitting at right
Well,
now.
I mean, heck, let's talk about it. The cliffhanger of episode 1, holy, and we
Mm,
don't really get a payback to it really in episode 2.
yeah.
Golly, the voice of this dude, and
Mm.
and I think they're referencing this
And this
character as
spoilers too, right?
right.
We're doing
Yes, yeah,
spoilers.
100%. We're doing
All right,
spoilers here
spoilers.
at this point.
So,
The
did you know?
stranger, the
Did you
stranger, is
know
that
that
what
they
we're
were?
calling him?
Well, did you know that they were twins? Did you know this?
I heavily speculated. I think that was something that a lot of us, or a lot of people out there, started to figure out through marketing.
All right, completely caught me off guard. I loved it.
Okay.
I
Okay.
was I went in blind on that, and my wife did too. Taylor watched it with me,
Yeah.
and yeah, I was like, oh, let's freaking go,
Yeah.
baby!
You
Like
like the twin angle then.
I loved it because it seems so light and dark, Star Warsy to me.
Mm.
And it, on the surface that could be gimmicky, this parent trap situation here.
Sure. Yeah.
But man, it really the way it was presented, I thought it was her the whole time. I
Mm.
just thought it was.
Like in that
And
scene when she's talking to the droid or whatever, you're like, well, wait a second. How do we get here? Kind of
yeah,
thing.
yeah, I was like, oh, she's
Okay.
woke up and she's just cool with murking people. That's okay. Like, golly, she's okay. I get, and then I was like, I guess she's like hiding out. This is like her base or whatever. Like she's just being this,
Sure.
worker. But no, I'm legitimately. I don't know if I'm stupid, if everybody saw this
No.
coming, but I was just like, oh,
Yeah.
sick.
No,
Like,
it was just a very heavily speculated thing to where
okay.
those that had kind of been doing the deep dive research probably weren't surprised by.
Mm.
But they haven't. I mean, they haven't been on the nose. Hey, you're dealing with twins here. And by the way, holy cow, Amanda Stenberg going
Oh,
back and forward.
oh, dude.
You
Kudos
can
to
like.
kudos.
I know we've had moments like this before where you've got a character or like an actor or actress playing two different characters. I don't know. In recent memory, I haven't seen one that's been done this great, in my opinion.
That the only one I can think of is like Tom Hardy in that one movie where he plays like the kind of macho bully New York dude, and he's like his twin. I don't know
Okay.
what it's called, but
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
lo and behold, she's amazing.
Yeah,
She's
she
amazing.
did
And
great.
and if you go back, the May's hair is longer. She's got the longer hair.
Yeah,
I
okay.
didn't
A little
didn't notice
bit.
that. Taylor called that out. She's like, "Oh
Hmm.
yeah, she's got the long hair. You didn't see that?" I'm like, "No, you didn't either. What are you talking about? Duh."
So that reveal was pretty cool, and I'm glad it's something that's already been put out there because yeah, it was heavily speculated, and I'm glad that everybody knows. All right, we're dealing with twins, and
Which
I
is
feel like
sick.
they
Like
handled that very well.
mythology of force and light, and like, come on, dude, there is so
Mm-hmm.
much to dig from that. And like I said, on the surface it could be kind of hokey, but
Sure.
with this idea of one sister being taken in, why was she taken in? Why was this one, why does he keep saying she's dead? Well, oh no, I believe you. Like, that's
Mm-hmm.
what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying, dude. We're talking meaty content here, and I was locked in. I
Okay.
If you're good, let's just jump in because I
Yeah,
want to
let's
get
get into
into
the
the deets
breakdown.
here.
Yeah, let's do it. All right. So episode 1 was titled "Lost slash Found," and okay, I mean, pause. Are we led to believe that the slashes are like one of the character May or Osha
Mm.
represents the lost, the other one represents the found?
100%.
Okay.
100%. I'm in on that.
Okay.
I
That
didn't even know what the
that
title
I
of
love
the
that. I
I don't know what the
love that.
titles were. But that's I think it's Leslie Headland. Shout out to
Yeah.
her. Is it Leslie? I'm
Yes.
hoping it's her.
Yes.
Incredible so far. Like, well done.
Uh-huh.
Setting up this world. Think about all the heavy lifting that she had to do here. We're outside the Skywalkers, baby.
Sure.
We're in. We're in a
Mhm.
whole new situation. And in one episode, I think she did good enough to really get me going. Now, I
Yeah.
mean, the writing's not perfect. Some of it's a little goofy. We've got a little Marvel Disney humor in there,
Mm.
but but
Yeah.
I think it was just enough, like, or I guess just below enough to make me go, oh my gosh, you
Yeah.
know what I mean? Um,
You know,
but yeah,
and
no,
that was actually something that I enjoyed the little humorous moments because that was one thing I guess in Andor that I didn't get.
mm,
This is getting kind of nitty and gritty a little bit like Andor. I don't think it's as much, and I find this so far 2 episodes in. I find this a healthy balance between the serious Star Wars that I'm looking for, but also still the lighthearted fun in Star Wars that has always been there. I think so far Leslie Headland's got that balance in check, but we'll see if that continues.
completely agree. Go ahead.
Okay, here we go. Breakdown. Episode 1, Lost slash Found. The series begins with an opening text in the form of a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. Not necessarily a scroll, but like a little sentence by sentence by sentence. Loved that. Of course, I think they did that in Ahsoka too, and that's something that I believe is foundational to Star Wars. So I love when they do those things. It puts us right into the story. May arrives on the planet Ueda, seeking revenge and a specific Jedi. She asks an alien and gives the alien credits for the information. May works her way inside a bar where there are tons of aliens. Let's speak to that for a second. My gosh, I don't even know what some of these species are. Some of these I've never seen before, so shout out to the design team, the ones that are behind the scenes creating these. I'm sure a lot of them are practical. They all looked really great. May finds Indara declaring they have unfinished business. May wants the smoke as she asks the Master to attack. Indara refuses as Jedi do not attack the armed.
Unarmed.
Unarmed, excuse me, yes.
Hmm.
May fights with some locals before Indara begins to engage. Indara asks who trained you to May. She calls for backup as she has identified an unknown force user. The two continue fighting, and Indara gets the upper hand. Indara removes May's mask and recalls who she is. Indara pulls her lightsaber, and May seemingly recalls a quote that a Jedi does not pull her weapon unless prepared to kill. May throws a dagger at the bartender, but Indira stops it, giving May an opening to kill Indara with the other dagger behind her back. May decides to allow the bartender and its seemingly child to live. Action packed. A lot of this stuff we got in marketing, this fight between the two, so a lot of that wasn't surprising. I'm personally not surprised by Indara dying here, but I'm sure that was like the big moment in this opening scene of the Acolyte. One thing I'm curious to know, Zach, when Indara takes May's mask off, is Indara interpreting this to be May, or is she interpreting it to be Osha? Because it
Yeah.
seems like later in this episode, either this one or the second one, it's revealed that the only two people that knew that there was twins were both Soul and Indara.
I think she knows she's May.
Okay. That's what I hope it is, because that would seem more
After
sinistery.
seeing episode 2 and
Yeah.
getting more details, that's what I think.
Okay.
But let me just tell you, everything about this scene I was obsessed with.
Okay. That's good to hear.
I it gave me the highest compliment I can give is it made me feel like the Mando when the opening, where you're like, oh, here we go, baby. Like,
Locked
oh,
in.
what is
Yeah.
going on here?
Yeah, I
Like
was
make
surprised
you
that
lean
all of
up
that
in your
was. I was surprised that was all before the title card.
100%. Taylor even said it. She said, "Whoa, that was good." I was like,
Yeah.
"Yeah, that was incredible." Like
Yeah.
everything about this, the Jedi feeling like police officers, gold. Because
Yep.
at this time, guess what? They are.
Mhm. Mhm.
Perfect decision that the whole vibe of the Jedi here are straight up detective police officers. That's exactly how it should be in my mind. And I love that. The fact that she's calm, she's chill, she is not freaking out whatsoever. She slowly calls for backup, kind of hidden. She's
Mhm.
using the force like crazy. They both are. Makes my heart so happy that they're freaking Jedi. They're gonna use the force. And
Yeah.
I can't stand when you get these force users in there and they treat the force like it's this sacred thing that they don't ever use. If I got the force, I'm going crazy, man. Every 5 seconds, every chance I can use it, I'm using
Sure.
it.
Yeah.
And so that's what I like. That's what I felt like here. She didn't
Yeah.
overuse it. She just, when she needed it, when it was usable, she used it. She used it to save the chick. She grabbed the dagger. Only complaint here.
Okay. Here we go.
Really made me mad that they killed her just because I love Carrie Ann Moss.
Oh man. Well, see. Okay, and I get that, and I think DJ in one of our maybe it was the trailer breakdown pod episode that we did.
Hmm.
He was very hesitant to saying, okay, Indara's dying in this scene, but I think they're gonna heavily use her in flashback still.
I think, well, we
Like, I
know,
think
I
that's
mean, we
part of the
trailer,
mystery.
right? That we've seen her and Soul together when he's got short
Right.
hair. So
Yes,
we
that's correct.
know that's not going to be the end of her. But when you're trying to lock me in to this, it took me
Sure.
out for a second. I got to be honest with you. 'Cause I
Losing
was
that
like,
talent. Yeah, yeah,
well,
yeah.
also like they pushed her so much in the marketing. It's like, okay,
Yeah,
I
that's
don't love
true.
that. I don't love that. But I get it. It's Carrie Ann freaking Moss, man. It's the
Yeah.
Matrix. It's Trinity. What are you gonna do?
Yeah,
You
it
know?
almost seems like they should have led more with Vernestra, the green Jedi,
Yeah.
versus this Indara
Yeah.
one,
Vernestra's
based on screen
everywhere.
time.
Yeah, dude. I agree. No, no, what they should have led with was Soul.
Yeah, dude,
Soul.
Soul, he's great,
He's my
phenomenal,
dude. He is
phenomenal.
my
There
dude.
was a
I'm in love with him.
there was an initial reaction review that said this is the coolest Jedi since Qui Gon Jinn. I see it. I see it now.
Easily. We're 2 episodes in. I'm sucked in, but we'll get to him. We'll get to
Okay,
him.
all right.
I'll let that marinate. For this scene, I loved everything about it. Is it a little hokey that this Master Jedi would like not know she has the thing and gets that? I
Yeah,
digress.
potentially,
It is.
potentially.
It is.
Okay,
A little dumb. It's a little
okay.
dumb. However, I kind of like the idea, and I'm giving her benefit of the doubt here. I like the idea that she's just a boss and
Mm-hmm.
she's more worried about saving other people, and that's what
Right.
gets her killed.
Yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah.
I love that idea here.
That's what I
Like,
enjoyed the most about the scene was the fact that Indara was still, performing her Jedi duty of
mhm,
saving the
exactly.
unarmed, saving the
And
innocent.
May jumped on that. She knew
Hmm.
what to do.
She knew the
Very dark
weakness.
side, very Sith. Oh, the hero's going to try to save the people.
Yep.
That's what I loved about it.
Yeah.
Now, that's why I'm saying I can get over the fact that this super master Jedi would get hit with this random dagger she's been blocking
Right.
the whole time. But I love that little Achilles heel of the Jedi of like, oh,
Yeah.
you want to be a good guy? All right. Spider-Man, I got Mary Jane, I got the kids. Who you
Sure.
gonna save? You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
No,
So
I
good.
like it. It was a great opening scene. I was I was so locked in that when they showed that was all before the title card, I was like, "Oh my gosh, that was all before the freaking title card."
That's when
That's
Taylor said,
insane.
"Whoa." She was like, "Wow, action packed." I think that was
Yeah.
her actual verbatim right there. Action packed. So,
Well, as
yeah.
soon as the title card wraps, we get the moment where we see Osha for the first time, but they don't really reveal that it's Osha. You could easily in this moment believe that it's May, but it is in fact May's twin. She wakes up on a starship to a droid named Pip. We then see sirens on the ship alerting Osha, believing she has a job for the day. She is greeted by a friend in the hallway named Philip, giving her a hard time for missing a party, it seems. The two appear to be on a Nemoidian starship, which those are the dudettes from the Phantom Menace
Phantom
prequels,
Menace. Yep.
Trade Federation people. The two need to repair the shield generators. This sends Osha into space in a suit. The Nemoidian captain calls them grease grubbers. I love that little phrase. That are disposable, but their cargo is not. We didn't come back to that because I remember typing that out thinking, okay, this is going to be a very important note that their cargo was important, but we don't. Do we ever get any allusion to what that cargo was? Do you think we're going to come back to that in the story? You don't think so?
No.
Huh.
I think it's them just saying we don't give a crap about the people. What we're hauling's
Sure.
important.
Okay.
That's the vibe I got there.
That's
I
fair.
will say, like, even me not being a huge know all the lore and stuff, like,
Yeah.
I saw them dudes pop up. I'm like, hey, I know them.
Sure.
Let's
Sure.
go.
Yeah,
Like,
that's
it's just a little thing like that, and I really like that. Um, why not use it? Like, we got
yeah.
that time period. Don't
I agree.
overdo it, but
Seeing
makes
them
sense.
made me happy. Made me very happy.
But as I was saying, like, it makes sense to the time and everything going on. Like, they would
100%.
be the ones running this. I just love when they do things
Yeah,
like
I
that.
mean, it establishes it that this is definitely before. For the casual viewer that doesn't know this already, this is before the Phantom Menace.
Hmm.
I mean, that's what that does for the
100%.
casual. There's a fire from an explosion. Sparks a memory of young May and Osha in trouble of some kind, and then a
Fire in
Jedi.
space, by the way.
Oh
Fire
no.
in space. Dumb.
Well, but that's happened before in Star Wars. That happened in
Still
the
dumb.
originals.
Always dumb. We're in space, and I know you were
Ah,
shooting guns and we got ships. I know that took me out. I was like, Taylor, what? What?
but that's been since day one, man.
We got we got this fire, and she can't breathe. Okay.
Oh me. Anyway,
I
Jedi
digress.
arrives, pausing the repair moments. I'm surprised that bothered you. I
It
guess it
did for
shouldn't
some
be.
reason. I was just like, why is it fire?
That's fair, I guess. That's fair, I guess. But I mean, A New Hope. I feel like that entire movie
I mean,
is
well, also
summarized
just
by
like
that kind of moment.
I think it being so like it looks so good and in
Yeah.
space and like all this
Okay.
stuff, and then like, oh no, there's fire. Well, what? Why is there fire?
Fair.
Go
Fair.
ahead.
All right. Next point. Jedi Knight Yord Fondar and Padawan Tassiloa arrive looking for a former Jedi named Osha Anesia. I don't know how to say her last name. Who is a mechanic. I guess mechanic is just the space version of mechanic.
That's how
That's
I
how.
took it. I
Okay.
like it, and I agree with your grease scrubbers. By the way, I didn't comment, but
Oh, yeah,
seems
yeah, yeah,
very
yeah.
Star Warsy to me.
Phrase, yeah. Yord begins to pull a Jedi mind trick on the captain, but the other Nemoidian gives him the information he is looking for. Osha is happy to see Yord as they seem to have a past. It is revealed that Osha left the Order 6 years ago. She joined the Order when she was 8. She joined when she was mourning because her mothers and her sister, the entire village, died in a fire. The Order believes Osha is a suspect as she matches the description of the one who killed Indara, obviously because they are twins, as they believe May is dead. But actually, I need to retract that statement because none of them even knew May existed except Soul and Indara. Indara tried to convince the Jedi Order to no longer train Osha, so that would be believed to be motive. The Jedi take her as a prisoner. I didn't have any problems with this moment at all. I feel like the exposition, the teases, the sprinkling of what happened in the past for Osha here was cool, and I think that just really continued throughout this first episode. Any thoughts on this moment here with Yord and Tassi and the final moments with the Nemoidians?
We'll talk more about Yord, but I know we had talked. I don't know if it was on camera or not, but about him maybe trying a little too hard.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
he worked for me.
Did
He
he?
worked for
Okay.
me because I took it, at least after these 2 episodes, he is overdoing it, but it's because he's trying to be this.
He's trying so hard to get the
He's
next
trying to
ranking.
be this like captain of the police force.
He's very much in the Jedi Knight phase that
That's what I mean. Like
he
that's the
currently
vibe
has
I
that
got. And he's
title.
like, that goes against Order 4575 and like that type of thing. And that worked for me. Him putting on this kind of overacting show
Yeah.
actually made sense to his character to me. So that just goes to show you, just as you see it in a trailer or whatever, it's all about context. So I wanted to give Yord a shout right there.
Yeah, I still think there's moments where he loses me, but overall, it was better than what I thought. Because I'm like you, I'll be honest. The trailers were out. The character wasn't working, but
Yeah.
so far I'm there. So far I'm there. All right, we continue on Coruscant. Master Soul is holding a training session in a room full of Padawans. This is a moment that we've seen heavily in almost every trailer that they have released. Master Vernestra arrives and the lesson ends. Vernestra recalls when Soul was a youngling, so that means Vernestra has been around for a long time. Very important to remember. And though I'm pretty sure those of you that have read High Republic material, you are well aware of Vernestra and you are well aware for how long she's been around. But that is new information for us that have not read any of that stuff. Soul is shocked to learn that they have taken Osha into custody for Indara's death, as she viewed both Soul and Indara as saviors from a fire. Soul tells Vernestra she has his support in determining the murder of Indara and keeping it quiet. I just thought that was a cool little discussion between the two of them and how you could easily see how the fact of them wanting to be all hush, hush, hush could lead to problems down the line, and I'm sure that's what this show could eventually get to. And I already see it kind of problematic that nobody except Soul and Indara knew that there was another one of these girls out there potentially. So, yeah, just an interesting little tidbit, little conversation. What'd you think of Vernestra's entrance here?
Thought it was awesome. I loved Soul's entrance and the respect he was showing her
Mm-hmm.
showed me how important she is. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah,
And the idea that Indara and Soul, like you said, just the sprinkling of storytelling for me is what makes me so happy with these first 2 episodes, is because they're not expositioning you to death. Like there's a
mm-hmm.
lot of exposition and very much like, oh, I saved her and Indara was there, and it's very much telling, but that's it. Like it's a sentence,
Yeah,
and inside that sentence, there's just a lot of context of like, oh, well, why are you the only two that know? Like, what is happening? What's the story here? And so I really like this scene. Specifically with him talking. I mean, it's cool seeing him with all the Padawan, or what are they
yeah, yeah,
called?
yeah.
Are they
Yeah, they're
Padawan?
Padawans at that moment.
Okay. So
Younglings.
younglings, that's what I was thinking of.
Yeah.
Also, High Republic drippy drip, very drippy. I
Trippy
love it.
trip. Like
I
the
love,
robes and everything.
yes, I
Okay.
love the look. I love that they have different looks for different situations. Like
Yeah.
all of that again makes sense. They're running the show at this point. Like
Yeah,
they are
they
the
flashing.
ballers. They look good. Like they're confident. They're a little cocky,
Hmm.
and I like everything about it. Go ahead.
Yeah. All right, moving on. Osha is tempted by fellow prisoners to try to escape. She says she has faith in the Jedi. The prisoners successfully break out and escape on an escape pod, but not before making a joke of Osha's decision and leaving her behind. In the chaos, Osha's droid, Pip, falls in clutter, but she picks him up after failing to use the Force to bring it to her. She then uses Pip to break out of the cell. Osha then frees the dude who had some creature on his mouth. I didn't really quite catch what was going on with that. And he takes the last escape pod, leaving OSHA stuck on the ship to prepare for a crash landing, which the ship does eventually crash on a snowy, mountainous planet. Now, let me backtrack for a second. I loved that OSHA was not able to immediately use the Force. That is obviously something that we heavily discussed, even going back to like Ahsoka and Sabine. That conversation of how it took the entire season, really, for Sabine to be able to make that connection. Now, even further, though, OSHA's been heavily trained in the Force before, as we come to learn more and more details. And even still, I love that decision of her not being able to quickly connect there. I absolutely could not stand these prisoner people. They were absolutely idiotic. If I'm being honest, this was probably the one scene in this episode that I did not like, just because they bothered me so much. But other
I
than that, it was fine.
My mind was in shambles, okay? Because remember, I don't know there's twins. So I'm thinking,
Okay.
oh, all right, so she went with them willingly. Now she's saying I'm with the Jedi when she does not have to say this. And
Mm.
now she can't use the Force. What is going on? Like I'm literally thinking in my head, I'm like, what is she just murdered someone? I saw it. Like, what is
Yeah.
going on here? And so, again, I think that's why I was hook, line, and sinker on this twin, I guess, plot twist, if you want to call it that.
Sure.
Because I was legitimately like, what is going on here? Now, to give the bad news, I always try to give a perspective of good and bad here. The one thing that was weird for me, I'm getting a little sick of the, didn't work.
Oh, okay.
Getting a little
Okay.
sick of that. I need something new. I need a new mechanic. You're trying to save some money, you don't do it. Like I need
Dang.
something.
So
I need something different.
you need death.
Yeah, that's just the first thing that came to my head. But I need something different. I don't know. That's me being nitpicky there.
Yeah.
But
Dang.
no,
That's
like
fair though.
legitimately,
That's fair.
everything
Because it happens in
everything
every
here is
show.
working. Yeah, it does. Like every movie, every show,
Everything.
everything. You got to do the thing, and then eventually, it's gonna come
It's-
back. She's gonna be fighting her twin, and she's gonna go and grab it and go, oh, she's got the
Sure.
force again.
Sure.
I swear to God, please
Oh
don't do
man,
that.
that already
Leslie,
leads me
don't do
to a
it.
question that I
Leslie,
have.
don't do it. Go ahead.
This,
What
I
is it?
mean, we could be getting ahead of ourselves. That's fine, but you bringing up the fact of her fighting her sister, are they going to bring May back to the light side? Is this another
I
redemption
swear to
story?
God, she better chop her head off. She better never come to the light side ever. I'll never watch Star Wars again if
Ooh, don't say
May
that.
if May turns light. I'm throwing it out there because uh, oh baby, that'll get me riled up
Yeah,
on
I
a
don't. I
on a
really don't want
Tuesday.
another redemption. I do not want
No,
another redemption story at
I
all.
need I need. Oh, all right, we'll get to it. We'll get to predictions at the end,
Yeah,
I assume,
sure.
right?
Yeah, we will.
All
We
right,
will.
we'll get there. So listen to
All
the end
right.
if you want to hear our
Yeah,
predictions.
let's do it. Okay, continuing on. Back on Coruscant, Sol reflects on the possibility of Osha doing such a thing as Padawan Jeki arrives, telling Sol that Vernestra has requested his presence. Jeki calls Sol out on having an old hologram of Osha because it would lead to attachment and nostalgia, but Sol responds by saying reflecting on the past prevents us from repeating mistakes. I thought that was great dialogue back and forward. I loved getting the wisdom from Sol, but also the wondering of knowledge from Jackie. And also she's kind of pushing back of the things that she's learning in school. She's like, okay, that's what has to be true all the time, right? Well, Sol's continuing on the wisdom outside of textbooks, if you will. Where am I at here? In the detention block, Sol walks by the prisoners who escaped. I love that they didn't make a big deal about them finding those prisoners too.
Oh, I loved it.
Like those
Loved it.
prisoners, we can clearly tell in those 5 minutes that we saw them that they are idiotic and they are
Yeah.
100% going to get caught. I did
I
not need to see
loved it.
that.
It made me laugh a little bit. It was one of the good humor points for me where we didn't need to know anything about how they got caught. We just cut to the cell and there they
Yep,
are, and you're like, of course they got freaking caught. They're stupid.
exactly. He
Um,
questions the dude who had the creature on his mouth with a Jedi mind trick. He reveals what happened to her. Soul requests to go to Karlak and find Osha. Vernestra allows it and orders Soul to get a small team to go with him. Soul recruits Jeki and Yord. And I think in that recruiting moment is when we get the Yord shirtless. I thought that was going to bother me. It looks like it bothers you, Zach. It was
Stupid.
okay.
Stupid. Stupid. I get it. But all right, it is stupid.
It's
But
goofy. It was definitely
it
goofy.
goes it goes back to what I was saying. Like this dude's, he's steaming his
Sure.
robe so he looks
Drippy.
distinguished. That's what I mean. Like it goes back to his character. He's this try hard guy, and he just gets caught in the moment, which
Yeah.
again works for me. But I was just like, God, this is stupid. But going back to Jackie, I haven't really talked about her.
Yeah.
Really, really working for me. I
Isn't that the
really
chick from
like
Logan too, by
it.
the way?
It is the
Okay.
chick from Logan, Daphne Keene, I believe is her name.
Yes, that's right.
Amazing.
That's right.
I love that she's kind of standing on her own. Her ideas are great. She's learning from Souls. You can tell she like looks up to him, and she seems like a really good Padawan. So
Yeah,
I
so
really liked her.
I threw it out in my pre-release podcast, which is kind of hard to or it's difficult to plug that at this point because at this point we're all watching the Acolyte, but it was out there. Do you get Ahsoka vibes from her? And maybe because you haven't seen Clone Wars like all of
Right.
them, maybe you
Um.
don't necessarily see that, but I feel like this would at least be. It would make sense, in my opinion, for this to be Leslie's attempt of like adding an Ahsoka type character to the
Sure, sure.
franchise.
And I think I think those qualities are gonna run true for most people we're gonna like in terms of like
Sure.
confident, endearing, smart, cunning, capable. But there's one other thing I want to talk about with Soul. All right, so when Soul did that like thing that I don't know how he practiced it or what he did, but my goodness, that in that moment I was like, "Oh, that was sick." And then the dude just like straight up tells him what's going on. I just thought it was so cool. That'll forever be cool in my mind. What do you call that? I don't actually know.
Mind trick?
Oh, is it the Jedi mind trick? Okay,
Yeah, I
I
think
wasn't
so.
sure.
I think so. I
Okay,
mean, his delivery of it, his hand motion is pretty slick.
that's
Not
what I
gonna
mean.
lie.
It's a little
Like
thing, but he just looks so confident. Like, all right,
Obi-Wan's is very much like in the wrist, like
he's very much like,
these are not the droids you are looking for, and he
yeah.
just like flicks it. But
Saul's
Soul
like,
is
you
like
about to tell you
swipe, swipe right.
the truth coming out.
Yeah, I like the delivery. I like that it's different. But yeah, another solid, I guess, scene. I didn't dig the prisoners, but I'm glad they got what they
Yeah.
deserved, in
Yep.
my opinion.
I thought it was funny. They were like, "It's the Jedi killer." That made me laugh too.
Yeah, what a goofy dude. I hope we never see that dude again. All right, moving on here. Osha awakens on the crashed starship of on Karlak. Suddenly, a hooded figure appears and leads her out of the ship. The hooded figure is a younger May, as Osha is suddenly transported into a flashback on Brindok. Suddenly, fire surrounds them. They run into a room as they both are now in their younger form. May admits to killing Indara. Younger May says she will kill them all. Suddenly, May is back on the starship on Karlak. What a cool, like, back and forward kind of scenario here. Transitioning us into a flashback, transitioning us into like almost. It's not necessarily like a. I don't think it's Osha connecting with the Force. More so, maybe somehow May reaching out to her. Maybe that's something we figure out in later episodes. But what a fascinating scene, in my opinion. I absolutely loved this moment. What did you think?
Yeah, I'm right there with you. It's the case of what I said before, where she couldn't use the Force. I felt the same way here. I was so confused. I'm like, what is going? Is she talking to herself? Is she talking to this twin that maybe it's a Moon Knight scenario? If you've seen Moon Knight, where they
Mm-hmm.
have, she has multiple personalities. Maybe she doesn't know what she's doing when she's this May character. I just thought they were the same thing. Then I was like, well, no, it could be, maybe she died, and they had the little phrasing that they were saying back and forth, where it's like, two if you make me or
Oh
whatever,
yeah, yeah. I wanted so bad to
and
get
like
that dialogue down, but
that whole thing was
so good.
creepy, and it was so
Oh
good. And like you said, is it a forced Skype? Is it, just OSHA? I get all the
yes,
names mixed up.
yeah.
Is it OSHA just kind of like, and this near death scenario just kind of going through her brain? I don't know. But I don't think it can be a forced Skype because May doesn't know she's alive, right? At the end,
True. Yeah, yeah. In episode 2, which I didn't expect that to
didn't
happen
see
at
that
all.
coming. Yeah, like they both don't know their like that. That's so cool. Again, you better explain it. But
There's a lot of questions still.
I think that's sick. Like I really think that's cool. And the idea of Soul says like she's the one that started the fire. And
Yeah.
so I know I'm getting ahead of myself, but it's so hard to talk about these other context clues without
It
getting
almost
into it.
makes me
But
wonder. Maybe we're getting into the prediction side of things. I'll hold on. I'll
okay,
hold off.
it's hard
Maybe
not to, man. It's hard not
I'm gonna try to remember to bring that up.
to. Okay.
Maybe I need to make mental note as we move on here. I'll try to bring that what I'm thinking
Okay.
potentially up there as far as why both of them essentially think the same thing, just in two different
Mm.
point
This
of
really
views.
worked for me to answer your
Yeah.
question.
Yes.
Thought it
Great scene.
it was very Force Awakens-y with Ray is what it
Yeah.
reminded me
It
of.
was. It was. It definitely gave
Which
me
I
those
love.
vibes. Yeah. I mean, yeah, not to get too off the path, but the stuff that worked in the sequels was Kylo Ren and Rey. Let's be
100%.
real. And their connection.
100%.
All right, Soul gives his point of view on the fire on Brindok. It was 16 years ago. Soul says May started a fire that killed the entire family, and Osha was the sole survivor. The fact that Osha is a twin is a shock to Jecki and Yord as they question if it's possible that May killed Indara, but Soul quickly affirms that May is dead. Soul says he saw her die. They jump out of hyperspace as they arrive on Karlak. Again, very important information dump for those that hadn't caught on to those moments yet. What do you think?
Soul knows something that he's not telling us. He's lying,
You
or
think
he
so?
100%,
Mm,
100%. Because the only reason I say that is because number one, he said he and um, Carrie Ann Moss, don't remember her
Indara.
name,
Indara.
Indara,
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah.
they're the only ones that knew about May.
Mm-hmm.
And he's saying that May started the fire, and he's like, "Oh no, she's dead, she's dead." And then Osha says, "No, May's alive," and he goes,
Mm,
"Ah, I trust, or I believe you." Like, why does he immediately just go,
mm.
"Oh, I believe you"? Like he knows something that he's not
Ooh.
saying. That's what I'm saying. Maybe he's not lying. Maybe there's another Jedi situation that they're trying to cover up what
Mm-hmm.
happened here,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't know. Something is off here. The dots
Yeah,
aren't
I
connecting.
agree.
Where
I
all the
agree.
other dots are connecting, this is
Yeah.
the one that I'm like, something's up. Like
Something's
there's a
going on
reason
with it.
she's going to hunt these
I
Jedi.
think the
So
more details we get about this fire on Brindok is going to be massively
yeah,
important.
agreed.
I think the entire story it's clear it's all going back to that.
At least the OSHA May storyline here.
100%, yeah. All right, the three Jedi track Osha down. Osha is happy to see Soul. Osha begs Soul to believe her. She slips and falls off the cliff, but Soul uses the Force to stop her from falling. Soul smiles at Osha. Osha says May is alive, and this is what you were talking about. Soul says he believes her. Osha turns herself in, basically.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
why would he immediately
and
go, I saw her die, and
I
then
gotta be honest. That was something that I was like, wait a minute. I and in that moment, I was thinking, was that good writing? Because that was a super quick turnaround. But I'm hoping you're right that there's more to it.
has to be, dude. It has to be. No, we know they hide secrets. No one knows about. It's not even on the record that she has a twin.
Right.
So, like,
Hmm.
we know they're good at hiding stuff. And I forgot to say this earlier. You were like, "Oh, it's weird that they were the only two that knew about this." I bet this is happening all over the High Republic with these
Really,
Jedi's, like
they're all just
hide and
hiding
sit,
vital information.
hiding and sitting on stuff.
Hmm.
I mean, just think about how vast this galaxy is, dude,
Sure.
and
Yeah.
policing this entire galaxy. Like,
Yeah. And
there's dirty cops. There's, like all this stuff's going on.
something that I love too about, and I know this is episode 2, but it even establishes the idea of like local Jedi temples.
Oh yeah,
Fascinating.
yeah, dude. So a
So
police
many different
station,
things could happen.
police station. That's what
Yeah,
I'm saying.
you're right.
Like
You're right.
all these
100%.
parallels to policing is what's making me so happy and makes me feel comfortable that they know what they're doing because that's
Yeah,
exactly how it would feel. They are the police.
sure.
You
Yeah,
got stormtroopers walking around in New Hope and stuff. That's them then. Like,
sure. Yeah.
just makes sense. I love it. I love
Well,
it.
episode 1, up at the top of this pod, we talked about the cliffhanger that was episode 1. And I think in the subtitles it alludes to the character as the stranger. So we're just going to keep rolling with that. The stranger arrives with that menacing voice that we heard in like the last TV spot that they dropped before the show. Oh my gosh. I know that the criticisms of this character looking like Kylo Ren are there, but dude,
It's
I
working
am
for you, ain't it?
I'm so locked in, man. The voice, the look, it's all so menacing, and I feel like it's invoking the feels that Leslie Headland had hoped that it was gonna invoke the feels out of people watching. For me, at least. Does this character work for you? But by the way, I do want to say like the character declares that an acolyte kills without a weapon, and that an acolyte kills the dream. Very cool dialogue for me. So, what do you think of this stranger though in these early and
Um,
only moments this week, at least for this character?
I'm not as infatuated, I would say. Like I don't know yet. I
Yeah.
will say I really like the voice. The voice could have gone bad, but it didn't. And it
So
doesn't sound
good.
like Kylo Ren either. Like there's a perfect like
It's
we
almost got
know
like
he's
a
in a
bane to it.
yeah. We know he's in a helmet, but it's not Kylo Ren versus you can't even hear what
Sure.
he's saying. And it's not Darth Vader either. Like I really like the voice. I think they nailed the voice. The line of Acolyte kills the dream. All right, buddy.
Come on, man.
All
Don't do
right.
this to me.
It's a little Shakespearean for me. Like,
Come
and then
on.
he lights the lightsaber, which is literally
Okay, yeah,
a
that was kind of
weapon.
weird.
Like, guy.
Okay. Again, I have something going on there mentally about what's going on with this weapon thing that he's
Mhm.
establishing.
Okay.
We'll talk about it later.
Oh, okay. I thought you were gonna say. I was like, all
Not unless you
right.
want me to, but
No.
now, okay,
Overall, it
yeah.
worked for me. I thought it was cool, but it just was a little soap opera-y for me. Like, pan to him, like a light kills a dream. Like, that's what I mean. That's just me.
That's
But
fair,
I
I
love that you
guess.
loved it. I love that you
Oh, I
loved it.
loved it. Gosh, so
It
cool,
came off a little goofy, more than menacing for me.
man. Okay.
That's just me
Quite
personally.
frankly, it was my favorite moment of the first
That's
episode.
okay. That's okay. Hey, that is okay, dude. For real. Like, I'm not
Well,
trying to bring you down either.
I'm just somebody that's a sucker for Star Wars villains,
Well,
and
I just need more. Like, that's not enough
sure,
for me.
yeah,
I need him to like kill somebody or
I
something.
get
You
that.
know what I mean?
I
Like, I
get
need
that
him
for
to do
sure.
something menacing. That line is just a little Snoky for me. If
Okay,
that means anything to you.
okay, that's fair. All right, well, there's the breakdown of episode 1. So typically, that's what you'll get a week, one episode. Obviously, the length there.
Hmm.
I don't know even know how long we've been going, but hey, I feel like we crushed it. But we got a
Yeah,
second episode to talk about, baby.
I
Episode
love it.
2,
Yeah, let's roll right in if you want to.
Revenge/Justice.
Well, actually, let's pause. What's episode 1? Where do you stand? I don't know. You don't have to rate it. Just like what?
Oh, it was my favorite of the two so far. I
Yeah,
can't
but where are
lie.
you at? Like, hey, it's great. Is okay. Where you at?
Hmm. I would say really good.
Mm. Yeah,
Really good.
I'm in the really good. I'm
I
in a
don't want
really
to
good spot.
say like, "Oh my gosh, this is so great."
I think it's really
I don't
good
want to
is
be
the
one of
perfect
those
phrase.
recency bias guys.
Yeah.
I need to watch it again, honestly, but
Mhm.
at the moment, really good.
Yep. I think that's where I'll sit on it. Actually, I watched it twice. Actually,
And I mean,
really good.
just while I'm thinking about it, episode 2, I would say was good for me.
Ah, I'm leaning more great if
Ooh.
just to get ahead of myself
Well,
here.
let's
But
get into it then. Let me
yeah.
try to understand why you're feeling that it's
Okay.
great. All
Okay.
right, here we go. On the planet Olega, at a local Jedi temple, May begins another attack as she continues to pay others for information to Jedi. May successfully gets inside the local temple. She walks upon a Master Torben, but she can't attack him as he is meditating and has a force field around him. May must flee as other Jedi detect someone is there. I didn't really know what was going on here in the moments. Quite frankly, it looked kind of goofy to me, the guy just sitting there, but it was cool. It was cool. I can't lie. It was very cool. But I was like, come on, dude. Are you just going to sit there the whole time?
Oh,
But I get it.
dude.
After later dialogue in the
Sure.
episode, I got it. But in that moment, I'm thinking, what the heck?
Oh, dude. In this moment, I was like, this boy is a Jedi. He is
Well,
one with the Force,
and
baby.
I can't lie. I kept thinking about this character from Game of
Game
Thrones.
of Thrones,
The whole
yeah.
time.
It,
The whole time.
his goofy hair kind of,
Yeah,
like,
you could tell it was fake.
yeah, like it made me get over that. But like, I thought it was so cool that even she couldn't break through. And, she's like, attack me first. Come on. And he's
Yeah,
just
that's
chilling.
true.
I thought that was just so cool. And that he's in the local Jedi temple, which I think is so cool. Like,
Right.
all those little things, again, they're sprinkles, but they just show you where the world is at this point. And we don't
Hmm.
know why he's like this. Maybe that's just what he's doing. Turns out later on we get a little bit more info, but um, I guess we still don't know why he was doing that. He's waiting for her, but I digress. I thought it was very well, and I thought she acted it very well. By the way,
Oh
that
yeah.
that would be so hard to do, to like fake like you're hitting this wall over and over and over.
Yeah, yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I thought
Well,
she acted that very well.
and I think one of the criticisms that I saw early on, like from the first trailer, was you got a moment in the scene where like May was flipping off the wall to try to get on top of the guy, and people were like in the comments, most unnecessary flip I've ever seen. Well, now that we've seen the scene, we see
She's
she's just
fleeing.
trying to find an angle of getting to this dude.
No, she was leaving. I thought
Was she?
when she bounces off the wall and goes up.
Is that
Yeah,
was
I think she goes out the window on the top.
for
I
some
don't think
reason I
she was
thought
trying to go.
she was trying to flip on top of him one moment to make sure that she could get to him
Oh, maybe,
from that
maybe.
way. Who
I'm not
knows?
sure. I'm not
But
sure.
overall, the scene worked for me.
Yeah, I just
Other
thought it was
than
cool.
just the crisscross applesauce and not figuring out what was going
See, I
on
thought
for
it
a
was so
minute.
cool, but that's why I love talking to you.
Yeah,
Yeah, go ahead.
absolutely. All right, here we go. Moving on. Yord shares his worry of not restraining Osha, and that if the twin theory is true, they could easily be working together. Sol tries to calm his worry down. Sol shares with Vernestra that Osha has a twin sister. Vernestra shares that she agrees as another attack was made fitting Osha's description, but as we know, Osha was with Sol. Vernestra orders Sol to go to Olega with Osha. Again, Yord disagrees, but is quickly put in his place by Sol. What you had mentioned earlier, Yord is very by the book, and Sol continues to kind of remind him we can't necessarily go by the book every single time. It worries me that Vernestra is so nonchalant that Sol has been holding on to this vital information of there being another one out there. Like,
Like I
I don't
said,
get
dude,
that.
wasn't important until it is. You see what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
no one gives a crap that there's this hidden sister that's dead. I just knocked over my drink.
Oh,
uh,
oof.
no, it's got a top.
Oh, okay,
Sorry.
okay, okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I, I don't want to say, alluding to the cop thing. I keep bringing it up, but it's just so clear to me.
Uh huh.
Like, I bet things like this happen all the time. Like,
Mm,
oh, this one thing happened. Okay, I'm not gonna dwell on it. Let's just roll forward. Okay,
sure.
that happened. All right, let's figure it out. Like,
That's
I don't
fair.
know. I think Vernestra, I think that shows her trust in Saul
Yeah,
personally, like
I
her
think
respect. Like,
Vernestra. Didn't we read a review that said like most of the characters other than Amandla Stenberg and JJ's soul fell flat? Didn't we see one of
I
those reviews on Twitter?
we were talking about something where they were saying they fell flat, but
Hard disagree.
hard.
Hard
I say
disagree.
every character is hit for me.
Because
Every character.
just talking about Vernestra makes me feel that way because I would put her up there with May slash OSHA and Soul easily.
I agree. I
Okay.
agree. Like, she doesn't say much, but you can just
But
feel
yes,
the
it's impactful.
respect.
Yes.
Like she's legit. Like, you just know.
Yeah. All right. All right. We're on the same page then. May arrives in a shop to find Chimere asleep. She shares how it went attacking Torben and asks Chimere to make poison to attempt to kill Torben. Chimere makes it rather quickly. May asks Chimere not to tell the stranger about her tactics of killing Torben because again in this scene they allude to the fact that the stranger wants May to kill without a weapon, I think. I think that was a big deal here.
She
But
says it. She says it. Yeah.
yeah, but May's obviously she's saying I need to do things my own way for right now. I'll eventually do it.
She's like, you don't know this dude's sitting in here with his force field. I literally can't even touch him. He's
Sure.
not. He's not doing anything. So I
Yeah.
got to figure out something.
What'd you think of Chimere?
Worked for me.
Okay.
A slimy, kind of greasy dude
Yeah.
who is way smarter than he's putting on a show, and
Yeah. Do you think he's
He
met the stranger? Because that's something I can't figure out.
um so I agree. I don't know in terms of not figuring it out. He is very in the know,
Hmm.
and he is not a good person because
Yeah.
I was watching something or I read something on Twitter while we were getting this set up. Does he recite the Sith code when he's talking about the poison?
I believe he did. At some point there, in that scene, he recites Sith code at a certain point. I
Which
just don't know what it
should
was.
answer everything we need to know. This dude is in on the
Yeah,
Sith.
he
Like
knows. He
he's
knows
a
things.
stranger. I don't know.
He knows more than what he puts onto the Jedi later in the episode.
100%. That's what I meant by like kind of putting on a show. Even with May, I think he's kind of putting on a show. He's like,
Yeah.
I think he's in on
Yeah,
the dark
like
stuff.
I mean, and again, getting ahead of ourselves, how the heck would he be the guy to know where that Wookiee is? Yeah, he knows things.
Yeah,
Something's going
yeah.
on with him. All right, Sol and Osha share a moment recalling their past mistakes that night on Brindok when they believed May to have died. They both declare they maybe weren't the best teacher or student. The Jedi arrive on Olega as May begins a second attack on Torben. A necessary scene, in my opinion. Talk through the past, talk about their struggles, but kind of move on from it. Both agree that we both weren't what we needed to be for each other, but let's continue the mission. Let's get into it. I enjoyed the quick little heartfelt moment between the two. How about you?
I love Saul. I love him.
Fair, I do
Everything,
too.
dude. Everything about him. I love him.
Yeah.
I think that's why I lean great on this episode because it's very heavy him,
Okay.
and he is just putting on a show, in
Yeah.
my opinion.
He's my favorite character so far.
Oh, easily for me, easily. I am just eating up everything he's saying, and just we'll get to the little fight scene there at the end. Like
Yeah.
everything he does in this episode, I just love it. So
Yeah. Yeah. All right, here we go. Torben took a Barash vow in search of peace, according to May. Um, Barash vow. I don't know what that is. I don't know. That could easily be one of those High Republic novel readers. Know what that
how
is?
about I Google it while you go on?
Yeah, go ahead. But I feel like that's why he's kind of in like this dead trance meditation kind of state, whatever that
100%.
thing
Here we
is.
go. Barish vow was an oath taken by Jedi who completely refrained from all activities related to the Jedi Order as a form of penitence, disengaging from anything but the Force itself, committing themselves to gaining ultimate communion with it.
Dang.
There you go.
Okay, so yeah, that's
You
100%.
see how cool that is, and you're chirping it, my
Yeah,
guy.
okay,
You're.
that is pretty cool. That's pretty cool. I digress. I go back. Let's rewind. Let's go back to the very first point of this episode. Pretty cool. I just still feel like it looked a little weird. I don't know why.
I, I I also think it's like you said. We know Game of Thrones guy. He's got this
Sure, that's probably
goofy
what it is.
fake hair on.
That's
I get it.
probably what it is. Uh, anyway, the question that I had here, I think we just answered it. Is this vow what has made him mute and in this state for over 10 years? 100%. I think we just answered that. That's what we do here on Mando Talk. May wants Torben to confess his crimes to the Jedi Council to receive the forgiveness he seeks right there and now. Torben then comes out of his meditative state. Torben immediately realizes that it is May as he declares he has been waiting for her. He asks for forgiveness as he says we thought we were doing the right thing. Torben then drinks the poison. Osha walks in on Torben lying dead on the ground. Osha knew the poison was bunta, as soon as she smelled it. Massively important that Torben is admitting that he did something wrong that night.
Soul knows something he's not telling us.
Yeah, what's the Brindok? There we go. That's the word I was looking for. Yeah, it all comes back to that moment. I think that's the theme of this podcast so far. 100%. We're going to learn so much more, and we know that we get Torben in flashbacks. We've seen him in trailers. Oh, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be
Yeah,
interesting to figure it out.
I thought it was fascinating. I think the design of his scars and stuff were really cool because we typically don't see the Jedi with scars like that. I think it was very Sithy, so I thought that was cool.
Yeah, that's
And
something else that we've seen in trailers, I think.
that's me nitpicking, of course, but in a good way. But I just thought this whole thing was cool. The fact that okay, we know he's been assuming he's been mute. We didn't know about this thing, but like he hasn't talked to anybody, and he decides to talk to her. That's a
Mm-hmm.
big deal. And then he decides to off himself. That's a big deal. Why? Um, I just everything about this is making me go, what is happening? What is going on? I want to know
Yes,
more.
somewhere Jedi went wrong in that night. 100%. We just have to
But
figure out
like,
is Soul part of it
How
or.
could it be that big a deal? That's
Hmm.
it. Better. It has to be a big deal. That's what I'm getting nervous about. The more we talk about it, it's like, okay, we're hyping up
Like,
this
why is
night.
this so special kind of thing?
Why? Yeah, like why does this stranger want her to murk these four? You know,
Yeah.
like why does he care? I don't know. I don't know. Is it like the Snoke thing where it's like you know kill it if you have to?
Well, that kind of
Um,
makes me. That reminds
but
me again of that theory that I maybe alluded to earlier that we'll talk about.
okay, cool.
We'll
But
see, though.
yeah, overall,
I
I
could
thought
be
this was
way
sick.
off,
I
of
thought this was
course.
so cool that he just was like, well, not cool, but just like, whoa, where he's just like,
Yeah,
yeah, all right, hey, please forgive me.
sure.
Like I thought
Yeah,
that was crazy.
dang. It
I
was.
I liked Yord sticking up for OSHA here. Where
Mm.
he's
Yes. Yeah, yeah,
he's
yeah, yeah,
being the
yeah.
good cop and like paying attention to the prisoner. Like
Yeah.
hey, don't it wasn't her.
Yeah, it was so obvious. I will say one criticism. It was so obvious that once Osha got in that room by herself, that one of the Jedi was going to come in there like all gung ho, like, "Oh, you killed
Notice
this
it wasn't the
dude."
Jedi. It was the like well, it was the Jedi, but
It
it
was
was
a
like
Jedi for that local temple.
correct.
Yeah.
That made me okay with it. If it was Soul,
Okay.
I'd be like, dude.
Yeah.
But it's
Sure.
this random dude who doesn't know what she is. So
Right. He doesn't
that's
know
why it worked
any
for
of the
me.
details. That's fair. That's fair. All right.
And
The squad comes up. You gonna say something?
I was gonna say I think Jackie may have said something too, but
Oh, she no. That was one of those
that's on your
brilliant comedic relief moments. I'm glad that you brought that up because Jackie was initially like, or somebody was initially like calm down or something, or you don't have to explain yourself. But then like they start talking, and Jackie's like, now would be a great time to explain yourself, kind of thing. That
Yeah.
timing was great.
Yeah,
That
Jackie
timing was
overall
great. Yeah,
great.
great
Even her
character.
timing on the him being naked and she's like, "Put your clothes on" or whatever
Yeah,
she says.
yeah,
Perfect.
yeah. I agree. All right, the squad comes up with a plan for Osha to pretend to be May as she talks to Chimere to get a confession and intel on May out of him. The plan works. Chimere also reveals that May has a master. Once the squad approaches Chimere, he then reveals that May is trying to kill 4 Jedi. So, obviously, she is now halfway there. Chimere says May will be back later that night, so Soul and company develop a plan to get her. Really big reveal there is just the fact that he spilled the beans about there being a master, and also the fact that May is after 4 Jedi. Now, I don't think it was a big reveal later in the episode that Soul was one of them, in my opinion, based on just the amount of characters that we had already met, and also based on trailers. I wasn't necessarily surprised about the Wookiee being the other, but I am interested to see how that Wookiee's involved in it somehow.
I'll
Uh,
say like after she said it, I was like, "Oh, that makes sense." But it did work for me in terms of
yeah,
like, "Ooh, oh, wow, okay, yeah." Like, "Ooh, Wookiee, sick." And then I was like, "Oh, Saul, duh, yeah, he'd be the other one."
yeah,
Like
yeah,
that
yeah,
type of thing. It worked
sure,
for me.
yeah. All right. We get I have a bad feeling about this quote. That's very important for us Star Wars
Yeah,
fans.
great. Hey, great usage and great like how do you say it? The way he said it.
Delivery.
The
Yeah,
delivery was perfect.
yeah. And it came from Yord, so that was cool. Soul won a great moment from Yord. We're gonna call him
Great
out
moment.
because I'll admit it. I thought this guy was not gonna work for me. Soul wants to face May alone, but Osha wants to face her too because she killed her family and destroyed her life. Soul asks Osha to have faith in May and to have faith in him to bring her in. Osha reveals the other 2 Jedi that May is after is Kelnaka and Soul. Was this the first moment where we got any indication that Osha was angry at May?
Mm, yeah,
I
I think
feel like
so.
it was.
Think
Because
so.
I was surprised. I was taken aback by it because I thought for some reason that they would be like, "Oh, I can't wait to reunite with you," kind of thing. But no, Osha is very pissed off about however it went down.
Yeah,
Again, we need to know more.
yeah, I think it's very well paced in terms of what they're revealing. I will say that.
Yes, 100%. All right, Soul engages with May. Soul questions May why she attacks without a weapon. And this is where I started, catch on to potential theory. I'm beginning to wonder why this is such a big deal. Soul discovers the master's identity is hidden. It is even hidden from May. May believes Osha is dead. Yord and Jackie make their move to aid in arresting May. May causes a large cloud of dirt and dust to blind the three. May begins to attempt to flee. Osha sees May and points a stun ray at her. I didn't know what else to call that. She shoots and misses twice. Great action, great choreography between the little Duke sesh of Soul and May,
I love
and
this.
great dialogue.
I loved everything about this. The
Yeah.
the the weight of the scene, the way it's shot. We haven't talked about it. I haven't talked about the action and the style of it here. I am obsessed
Mm.
with this style of Star Wars action. This it's this perfect middle ground between prequel and um original trilogy for me, where it's
Yeah.
you know, it's a little flippy, a little fast and stuff, but it's so smooth and you can tell like they are masters at this, especially the Jedi. Like seeing Soul just easily not even take his lightsaber out. Like kind of like Darth Vader, you know. I just think it really, really worked for me. And then well, the moment when he has her daggers is sick for me. I just think that's really cool because you can see her trying to grab for his lightsaber, which I guess is so that he can't use it, or maybe that's one of her missions is to get a lightsaber. I don't know. I guess that's why she knows that's like his gun in the sense.
Sure. Yeah.
But I, I going back to kind of the flow of everything when he grabs her with the Force and is just holding there, and then Kylo Ren's her. I don't think you know how happy that made me to see him use a what we know to be a dark side power or
Uh huh.
force power, right? Like seeing into her mind and doing this sequel trilogy. Like that's what I'm saying. I get so hyped because it's just sprinkled in. Like no one said, "Hey, look at
Sure.
this is sequel trilogy stuff." It's just he's a Jedi and that's what he would do.
Yeah.
He's going to read her mind. Why would he not? And
Yeah.
then the fact that we find out she doesn't even know who this the secret guy is. What are we calling him?
Stranger.
The stranger. Yeah, we don't even know. She doesn't know who he is, and so I think that's genius because if he's this powerful Sith dude, he knows they can read her mind, so he's gonna like it. Just so good, man. It gets me hyped
Yeah.
because it's so well done. I loved it. And then the fact she looks down, like she gets dust in her face, and
Uh
then
huh. Uh
we
huh.
see her put the pieces together. Again, that could have been clunky and stupid, but it worked for me
Mm.
because like she's using what she's got. Boom,
Sure.
that would work, right? In my
Yeah.
mind, like yeah, I don't
Yeah.
care how much force you got, you get a little dust in your eye, you're out. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
100%.
So I just think everything about that worked. And then, all right, so did May miss purposely here with the
I didn't think she
or
did.
sorry, OSHA?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I know. I knew who you meant. I didn't think she did, but I could see
I
where
very
she.
much think she did.
Okay. I could see where she. The Force works in mysterious ways.
Sure,
The Force knows that she doesn't really want to kill her
sure.
sister, so Osha doesn't realize that she missed purposely, but she kind of did. If that makes sense.
The only reason I say I think she did it purposely is the look that Saul gives her when they look at each
Hmm.
other. Like,
Hmm.
you could have stopped her. That type of thing. Now, that may be just me
Hmm.
looking into it, but if you
Yeah.
go
No.
back and watch,
That's
you look
that's
at his
interesting.
face, he's like,
I
yo,
just interpreted it as Soul is he's
like,
just analyzing the scenario. It's
okay,
like, oh, okay,
that's
interesting.
fair.
I
It
just
could be
wanted.
like,
I think he was like. I see it as he saw it. He was like,
like, oh
okay,
crap.
you're trying to do what we're trying to do. Then kind of. So you're
Oh,
good.
okay.
You're straight.
I see.
You're
I
good.
see. Maybe. I'll have to watch it again. I haven't got to see
Yeah, me
episode
too.
two twice, so
Oh, you
I'll need.
watched the first one twice?
Yeah, yeah.
Smart.
In the little meantime there,
Sure.
I got another viewing in.
Yeah, I need to watch them
But
both twice for
I don't know.
sure.
Yeah, check it out and see what you think on that second watch because
Yeah.
her face looks like she wants to do it, but then
Mhm.
she just completely whiffs twice. I don't.
Yeah.
And Saul even says she knows how to use this, doesn't he?
Mhm.
When he takes it from
Oh yeah,
Yord,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
and he's
yeah,
like,
yeah.
"Don't
You're
worry,
right.
she knows
That's
how
a
to
good
use
point.
this."
That's a good point. Dang. You may be onto something.
It's
We'll
her
see.
sister, man. It's her
Yeah,
sister.
you can't.
It's
Yeah,
your
yeah,
blood.
yeah. No, I'm with you. I'm
All
with you.
rules out the window. Okay.
Yeah. All right, here we go. Soul discusses the next steps with Vernestra. Vernestra orders Soul to pull back for now so the council can have a discussion of what to do next.
So Jedi right here,
Yeah,
dude.
100%.
So
100%.
Jedi to be like, wait a second,
And
we need to go
Soul is
to.
definitely against it, but
Oh yeah.
he's going to do what he has to do.
Hmm.
May attacks Chimere for selling her out to the Jedi. Chimere wants to make it up to May by going to Kofar, which is where Kelnaka lives. And that kind of takes us to the very end. On Kofar, two scavengers speaking Huttese arrive at Kelnaka's homestead where he scares them off. Of course, Kelnaka is the Jedi Wookiee, and that is the end of episode 2. What'd you think of those final moments?
Dude, amazing.
You loved it.
That's yeah. I'm like, dude, I want more of this guy. Give me a Jedi Wookiee. Are you kidding me?
Yeah,
Like just that moment of seeing a Wookiee. First of all, I even audibly said to my wife, "I said Wookiees are so cool." I
yep,
literally
they
said that out
are.
loud.
They are.
But then in my mind, I'm thinking, there's a human inside that. What a
Sure.
ginormous, awesome human in there, you know? But
Same guy that did Chewbacca in the sequel trilogy.
yeah, shout out. Is it Jonas?
Yeah,
Johann? Jonas?
Jonas,
Jonas.
something. I can't say it.
Yeah, sorry. Shout out you. I apologize. I don't want to butcher your name because you deserve
Yeah, I
better
don't
than
want to
that.
either.
Like he's legit as a Wookiee, and this was awesome. I know it's just a moment, but it was enough to make me go, "Oh man, I want more. I want to
Mm-hmm.
keep going." Because
Yeah.
like, what's gonna happen? May coming after him. He's gonna be a beast. Please don't kill him. Please, please don't kill
Yep.
him. But
He might die.
yeah, probably.
The only thing that makes me not is the Disney aspect of it. I'll be honest. Of are they really going to kill a Wookiee, a cute, cool Wookiee?
They killed Trinity. Hey,
True, but that's a human. Totally different.
I know. You're probably right. Don't say it like that. I don't want to make it Disney-fied. I just don't want him to die because he's awesome.
Yeah, no, I
Kelnaka.
agree.
What a cool name, too. Kelnaka.
Great name.
Is
And
he in the
apparently
books?
that's another one that's in the High Republic novels, but I don't know. I'm taking all this High Republic stuff in as we're getting it here in the
I
Acolyte.
can't wait to see more of him, basically. Very
Yeah.
good cliffhanger-y type.
So
Hey,
yeah, I agree. I agree. I'm interested to see where this show is going. Like I said up at the top, I'm in. I'm in on this story. So you think episode 2 is better than 1, huh?
I do. And
Okay.
the only reason I think it's very, very close, but the only reason I pick episode 2 as great is
Sure.
because it sold me on the characters. The first
Yeah,
one,
okay.
I was in on the story and interested,
Sure.
but this one really locked me in. Like I
Okay.
want to know why the dude is not talking, and I want to know why she's hunting down four of them, and why she's working with the guy, and what's going on with the Soul, and like does he know what's going on? Like all these mysteries are kind of
Yeah.
cultivating in this
Yeah,
episode
they're
for me.
formulating for sure.
And I again all the little things we just talked about, but specifically like the fight I thought was amazing. Everything Saul is doing in this show is amazing. He even
Mhm.
holds his hand out like Kylo Ren. Did you notice that?
Yeah,
Wait,
yeah.
I love that moment. Love
Yeah.
that. That's on purpose. You can't convince me it isn't.
Mm.
It's a very much like dark side, light side situation here.
Mhm.
Come with me. I think they do it in Ahsoka too, right? Does Ahsoka do it to
Oh, to
the apprentice girl?
Shin.
Yeah, yeah,
Yes.
it's a Shin. Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
very Star Warsy thing in my
Yes, it
mind, and I
is.
loved
It
it.
is.
Um, I just, I really, really liked.
Okay.
I
That's
just like
fair.
both of them, dude.
Yeah, yeah,
This
yeah.
is as good as I want it to be. I am
So
locked
far,
in.
yes.
I love it. I want more of it.
Yeah, I'll say I'm a happy Star Wars fan. And that means it was successful so far. For sure. Now,
This is, dude. This is better than. I mean, I would say Andor's the only thing that's
Yeah,
better
let's
for
let's
the
do
first
this.
two.
We can do this. So far, 2 episodes in.
Yeah, 2 episodes in. That's it.
2 episodes in, I'm confident in saying I can tell that the story writing and telling here is better than Kenobi, Book of Boba Fett, Mando 3. I'm not quite there with Ahsoka yet. We'll see. But I think the writing in Ahsoka, the more I think about that show, wasn't phenomenal. It was not great.
It this show is written better than Ahsoka in
Okay.
my mind.
And see,
Um,
I'm just 2 episodes in. I'm hesitant to make that
and I don't know if it's
that
fair because this is a
case.
whole different type of genre. This is murder
Sure.
mystery versus
Yeah.
like action adventure
Yeah.
sci-fi, you know?
Ahsoka is like your typical
It's just grab some
let's have fun Star
popcorn.
Wars.
Oh,
Yes.
it's the Lookie show. Oh, look at
Yes.
that. Look at that.
Yeah.
Remember
Yeah. Yeah.
that? This
Yeah.
is cool.
Yeah.
Where this is like, oh,
Maybe it's not fair to compare them. You're
that,
right, but I think it's a conversation that naturally comes up.
but you can talk about it,
Sure.
and
Yeah. Yeah.
I think I do think at least 2 episodes in. Again, this is too early. They
Yes.
call it, the too early draft. This is
Sure.
the too early draft.
It's got the potential.
It's got the potential. Like
It's
if
got the
they
it's
can
got the
land
sauce.
a couple of these, if they can land, we'll talk. Well, I guess we can go straight in predictions if you want
Do
to.
it. Yeah, let's do it.
Um, if they can land this fire situation,
Yes, that's vital.
that they have
Deadly
to.
vital.
You have to. It's got to be sick. There's got
Yeah,
to be a sick reason for this.
if it's a dud, the show is a dud.
I agree. And
They put all the eggs in the basket for that one
well,
night.
yeah, that's what I was gonna say. And the fact that Dave Filoni has talked so highly about this show
Yeah.
makes me think it's not gonna be a dud. Like it's got
Mm.
to be a good reason. Whether if we're talking predictions, it's got to be something about the Sith and
Mm.
May, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
hey, we saw this kid and she says, we're the dyad or whatever. I need you, you need me, light side, dark side. And they saw that May is the coming of the Sith, and they had to burn the whole village and the family, and they took
Mm.
Osha. Like it's got to be that type of, maybe not that exactly,
Yeah.
but something of that level in my mind.
Yeah. So one of the things that I was thinking on as we were talking was how I'm wondering if, because so far we've gotten one side of the story basically. We've
Mhm.
gotten the side of Soul saving Osha from the fire. I'm wondering if there's a completely different side where somehow this stranger guy has been around. Even for that night, the stranger was there, and he, for some reason, decided, like you were maybe alluding to, that May needed to be saved, and maybe there's a point of view where those two, master and apprentice, somehow escape
I
and
agree
survive.
100%. You actually stole my prediction there.
Ooh,
I
okay.
not stole, but we're on the right same wavelength. I think that's what
Yeah.
this show's actually about.
Okay.
Is is May and the stranger here. Because if you've looked at the marketing, it's been all about darkness and Sith
Mm-hmm.
and I think they've even said like this is the first story about a Sith.
Sure.
And so who is that? It's May and the stranger dude. So
Yeah.
like I think we're just setting the chess pieces up here, and I think episode 3, 4, maybe even 5. There's 8 total, right?
Yes.
I
8
think
total.
4, 5 maybe we're gonna get that full backstory. Stranger
Mm.
was there that night. Maybe that's why the Jedi were there. They knew something
Yeah.
was going down.
I
They
don't know, man.
saw they saw darkness going on here.
Yeah.
Maybe even I don't want to get into full speculation of like they knew the Sith were coming back and then they hushed about it, so they were just gonna
Yeah,
try to
that's what
wipe them out with a
I
fire.
I'm starting to think that Soul knows what the stranger looks like.
Or who it is.
That maybe he, in fact, saw from a distance that night a shadowy, creepy looking dude,
The Sith
but he has kept
dude.
it to himself this whole freaking time.
That's what I'm saying. Like something of that level caliber there.
Yeah.
That's a land for me. Like it won't be a dud. But I need something of that for this
Sure.
fire and this
Yeah. Yeah.
family and the fact that May thought Osha was dead. Very interesting curveball to me. Because like what? Who's telling
Yeah.
her
Yeah.
that
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
her sister and family are
It's
dead.
got to be the
The
stranger.
stranger. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So it makes sense.
Yeah.
Very, very interesting. And I think if they do an episode like you said, or maybe one or two, where it's all about May and the stranger, and we
Sure.
almost get
Oh,
this like
gosh, come
the
on now.
like if we get a I wouldn't say buddy cop, but just like in Jedi Fallen Order or Fallen Survivor, you get those like Padawan moments with
Uh-huh.
your master. I want that, but
Mm.
Sith. Like
Yeah, that'd be
like
cool.
you got Rey and Luke training,
Yeah, I think
that type
that's
of
what
thing.
I mean. At the end of episode 1, I would imagine that's what goes down in that
We
location
gotta have that.
is some training
I
moments.
hope it's I almost hope it's like a reflection of the Jedi, where the Jedi have
Mm.
Octu. Is that what it's called? Octu?
From the Last Jedi, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Got
yeah,
this Jedi at the OG temple, and they got the tree and like Jedi everything. I want the
yeah. Uh
Sith
huh.
of that. Hey,
Mm.
we're on this island. This is the Sith temple, and this
Even
is
though it
where
looks
all
very similar to Octu,
it does. Which
and that's the
would be
one
so
spot.
sick if it was Octu. I
Yeah,
would be so happy.
well, that's the one spot they identified on screen in text what the planets were called,
Except for that
except for
one.
that one.
Bingo. Dude, I didn't even notice that till you just said
I
that. I'm
think
like,
that's a reveal they're holding on to for
yeah, but
sure.
but like everything about the Force, there's both sides, so it makes sense. We
Yeah,
even saw it, the ugly looking hole in
yeah,
Last
yeah,
Jedi.
yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah, yeah,
we know that there's
yeah.
this entire Sith catacomb situation going on here. So
Mm-hmm.
like, dude, I want them to pull on that string. That's me being hopeful. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna let that affect what actually happens. But in my mind, that's where I feel like we're going
Mm-hmm.
is down this Sith path with
Yeah.
seeing the Sith side. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Am I crazy? What do you think?
No, I 100% think that that is a possibility, and I think that's something that's exciting. That I think would be very interesting for them to visit.
Because we're only on episode 2 and we're down
Right.
2 folks.
Yes,
We only got
the
2 more.
killing is gonna have to slow down. I think
Well, my point
for
being is
sure.
like that tells me that ain't what this is about. Like
Right.
it's not about her hunting them down. It's about why is she hunting them down and how did we get here?
Right.
That's what this like last 4 episodes are going to be. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Now, let me bring up one other thing that I think I'm tracking on.
Okay.
I think. So far, we've had two vital moments of May fighting, right?
Mm-hmm.
May fought Indara in episode 1. May fought Soul in episode 2. We learn in episode 2 that the stranger wants May to kill without a weapon, correct?
Correct.
There's one thing that I've noticed that I think is vital in both of these fights. There is a slow mo shot in each of them, and in each of those, the slow mo shot is May looking and hoping to grab their lightsaber.
Mm-hmm.
I'm curious and wondering if the stranger believes to become a Sith, you have to take whoever the Jedi their lightsaber away, kill them with that lightsaber, and then bleed the crystal, and that's what the acolyte, that's what the stranger has done, and I think that's what I'm hoping, or I'm thinking that's what they're tracking on, why they're wanting, or the stranger is wanting May to kill, I guess, without a weapon, and that's part of the process. Because I feel like them doing slow mo on that one shot for both of
Both
those fights
times.
is telling something.
I
And
agree.
I think that's maybe where the stranger's red lightsaber comes from, and that maybe might not be something that Sith continue to do down the line, because I don't think like Anakin does that. I don't think Palpatine does that. But maybe in this specific moment in time, that's what this Sith dude believes. Do you think there's any chance that we could go that route? Because that's pretty lore heavy that I would definitely love.
Well, like I think I actually brought it up while we are talking about it, but there's got to be a reason she keeps going for this.
Mm-hmm.
Like we see it both times very explicitly. She is reaching for this lightsaber, and like I said, it's equivalent to their gun, yes, but why does she care? And
Yeah.
then when she kills Indara, is it
She
Indara?
yes,
She leaves
she
it.
leaves it. It's almost like you have to take it from them, kind
I
of
thought
thing.
what I thought she was gonna do is go and get her with it.
Sure.
I
Yeah.
thought that's what was about to happen. I was like, oh gosh, Taylor, what's about to happen right here? But
Yeah.
then she did. Meh. But I don't know. I do think there is significance there about the whole lightsaber thing.
Yeah.
And
Hmm.
but he does say not with silver or steel, not with laser in his little
Does he say
phrasing.
that? Does he
I
say not
think
with
he
laser?
I think he does. I think he does. I don't
Hmm.
know what this stranger dude is. Again,
I
he
need to
better be
rewatch it.
legit. All right. Actually, we didn't close the loop on that. Number one was the fire, but also the stranger's got to be legit. We can't
Oh,
have a
yeah,
Snoke
yeah, 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 yeah.
situation. We can't have this like, oh, we thought he's amazing and he's really not. He's got to be legit. And here's my counterpoint. I
Mm.
think we're gonna get that
Yeah,
based on the trailer. He takes on like 20 Jedi.
sure.
I think that's gonna be the moment where we go, oh, all right, this boy don't play. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I don't know.
And
That's me
I hope it's
speculating there, but
sooner rather than later.
I think we get it episode. I think we get it episode 3. I think we get it next week.
Mm.
Because is it a flashback that we see that?
I don't think so because Yord is very
I didn't think
much
so. And it looks
um
very foresty where they're at, right? In the trailer.
well, yes. But I was thinking maybe that they get to all of them get to that Kofar planet because that's very
Yeah,
foresty,
yeah, that's
right?
what I'm saying. Next
Okay,
next
okay, okay,
episode.
okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It would be
Hmm.
next episode. They get
Well, I
to
definitely think that the light whip is next episode because
yeah.
Vernestra's light whip is seen in a foresty planet too.
Ah, well then maybe it is episode 4 then. Maybe episode 3 they either kill Kelnaka or they figure out that's who they're gonna go after next.
Yeah.
Um, because if this is it OSHA that says like, oh Saul, you're the other one, right? Is it her that says that? Someone says like, oh Saul, you're the fourth of
Oh,
the
oh,
four.
oh, oh.
So
I think it was
they
OSHA.
know that they're. Do they know Kelnaka's the next hit? Actually,
Yes, that I mean they've figured out because
okay, I thought so.
yes, they know that Kilnock is one of the four, so they know to probably go there next.
How do they
Yeah.
know that?
How do they know that? Did they get that out?
Just go back to the fire thing. I guess he was there.
Maybe
I don't know, but
it's OSHA that reveals it.
I thought so.
Hmm.
So confused there. I just have to rewatch that because I bet they clearly lay it
Oh no
out
no no
and
no no!
it's
They
clear.
said in dialogue that it was four Jedi that were stationed
Oh, I remember Saul says it. I was stationed at that planet or
at
whatever.
that planet. Yeah,
And
Brennecca, whatever it's
Kelnaka is
called.
one of them.
Yeah, and it was those
Gotcha. Okay.
four Jedi that were stationed there at that time.
Okay.
Those
I
are
was
the
gonna
ones
say I
that
knew
met
they
us
said it
after.
somewhere, but I couldn't remember if
Yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot of key dialogue I think in the show, and that's exciting for me.
I love it, dude. It's as good as I wanted it to be,
Yeah,
and I think I'm so excited and hyped up about it is because I just see so much more potential here, man.
there is a lot of potential.
If they stick these landings,
Mm-hmm.
we're talking some of the best Star Wars of my life. Like I
Mm.
legitimately see that much potential here in terms of the fighting style, the choreography, the writing, the mystery, the time that we're in.
Yeah.
Just seems like such a big meaty chunk of Star Wars that we've never gotten
Mm.
and has nothing to do with freaking Luke Skywalker. Nothing wrong with him, but I'm just saying that like I just think that's so cool that I'm all in and I didn't know any of these characters before like 2 hours ago,
Sure.
3 hours ago.
Yeah.
Like sick.
No, I'm with you. I think we're off to a great start, and I'm
Just please
certainly
just
excited.
I just want it to be good, Killer. I just
I
want
do
it to
too.
stick the landing, man.
Trust me, I do too. Big trust on that one.
Would you? They saw so reviewers saw 4 episodes, right?
Some of them. It's been like some of them have seen this first two early. Some of them have seen all the first four.
Have you heard or seen anything about 3 and 4? People talking about 3 and 4? I feel
Not
like I
anything that
saw
I remember off the
someone
top of my
say
head.
that 4 is the best. Of the,
Really?
I think I saw that. While you speculate, I'm gonna double check it, but
Okay.
I thought I saw someone say like slow at points, but episode 4 is definitely the best, I think.
Hmm. That's definitely a possibility.
So let's see.
I
Uh,
I have a feeling it's probably going to be. I think we're set up for next week to be a banger.
yeah, I think I go back and forth. I'm actually kind of going back to I think it's gonna be 4 where we get that um the fight with.
Yeah. I mean, Star Wars usually does a great job with their trailers. Usually we see all of the trailer in the first
Mhm.
half of the season. So I definitely think that we're going to get that stranger in the forest moment at least by episode 4 for
Yeah,
sure.
see, so I've now seen the first 4 episodes, and all I can say is episode 4, and they're doing the oh my goodness.
Yeah, that's got to
Episode
be
4 is genuinely chilling,
the moment then.
dude. We're about to see the stranger just murk these Jedi. I'm telling you, dude.
I
It's
hope.
gonna it's gonna be crazy.
I really hope so. I really hope so. Well,
Oh,
we'll.
Grace Randolph says the end of episode 4. My goodness.
Uh-oh.
Come on, man. Come on. I knew I
All
saw it
right.
somewhere.
Well, I guess we'll see when we get there. But I think that about wraps up our episodes 1 and 2 breakdown of The Acolyte. Of course, next week we will be reviewing episode 3, breaking it down. And yeah, I feel like tonight was awesome, even though, up at the top, behind the scenes look. We had all the technology difficulties off the top, but we figured it out. We got it
Yep.
going.
Yep.
But hopefully we've worked out the kinks, and next week we will be ready to rock as we watch the 3rd episode of The Acolyte and we break it down for you. If you want more from us in the meantime, follow Mando Talk at Mando Talk on all the social media platforms. And yeah, Zach, any final things you want to let the people know?
Yes. One thing I haven't talked about.
Okay.
No use of the volume. 2 thumbs up. So nice being in a real place.
Yeah,
I
I
should have
agree.
said this way earlier. If you're listening right now, shout out to you. But like you probably agree with me. You know what I mean? Like we're at that
Yeah,
time. But
I echo
no,
that for
I,
sure.
I'll say it again next week. So if you're listening, I'm gonna say it again because it is so refreshing. They feel real. Like you were talking about, the creatures felt so good and real, and everything just
Mm-hmm.
felt Star Warsy. And that's the
Yeah.
highest compliment I can give.
All right.
Thanks for
Well,
having me.
absolutely. We'll do it again next week. Can't wait.
See you
It's going
next
to be
week.
fun. All right, let's get out of here. Hope you have a great week. Hope you enjoyed watching those first 2 episodes as much as we enjoyed watching and covering those first 2 episodes. I will definitely be watching both of them at least one more time simply to hear the stranger's voice again.
Love it.
I absolutely love it. I can't lie. Anyway, let's get out of here. Can't wait to talk to you next week. And until then, as always, we have spoken.